Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. How you doing? This is your coach Renz. So tonight, I tried to avoid it, but y'all just keep asking. You keep asking. So tonight we're going to talk about Kanye West. Was he right or was he wrong? Now, what's up, Maurice? How you doing? So was Kanye right or was he wrong? Is what we're going to discuss. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Let's talk about it. That's right. We're going to talk about this. We're going to give some people some time to get in. So for those who are listening now, I don't do the giveaways on the live, but I was the winner of the last giveaway earlier today. So Deidre Scott, she won. But she's already contacted me. In the comment section of this video, you can still do hashtag Uncle Ren's Popcorn if you can still win some popcorn for the next drawing. So we're going to talk about Kanye. Most people have seen or heard about, or hey, Princess Yaffa has heard about him on his TMZ. You and Ye have the same birthday. I don't know if to say that's great. I don't know how you feel about that. You might like it, might not. That's right. Hate everybody. So yeah, most people have seen his conversation on TMZ. Now, one thing I did take, the first thing I took from his conversation on TMZ. Let's see, Reginald said, first off, the edits his comments. He clearly said chattel slavery was not a choice. He's talking about mental slavery. The media changed it. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. We're going to break this thing down. We're definitely going to break it down. But I want to start from like the very first part of the interview and move our way through it as best we possibly can. And one of the first things that I like that he said that was actually a mature statement. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I agree with most of what he said. But, and it's all right for us to disagree. As long as we disagree politely, maturely, and, we can talk about it. I don't want everybody to agree with me. I don't want to agree with you on everything. But one of the things that he said early on in the interview was that he does not have the ability to express himself correctly all the time. That sometimes he's impulsive, says things and he's not clear about what he says. So he lacks that initial clarity, which is why I think you saw after comments that he made, Twitter, he tweeted some comments about Harriet Tubman's quote and that sort of thing to clarify that what he meant was mental slavery, not chattel slavery. But the first thing that he was discussing before he got into the entire slavery conversation is the first thing that I want us to answer. Was he right or was he wrong in speaking about the ability to think freely? The ability to think freely. Now, most of the people who follow me on Facebook and YouTube, we are free thinkers. We believe in thinking for ourselves. And his big question, the first thing he was talking about, was the fact that if you choose to think independently of the masses, of the herd, of the sheep, then the thought police will come to crucify you. Also, as Kanye is very mental, your mind is the most powerful organ in your body. I'll agree with you on that one. And I think what's even, and I'm gonna do you one better. I'm gonna do you one better. Not only is your mind the most powerful organ, but your consciousness is the most powerful energy in your body. And the consciousness goes beyond the mind, because the body dies, the mind dies, but the consciousness continues. So even though we don't have to agree with everything he does, even though I believe that he is still suffering from the grief of losing his mother, because I just don't think he's been the same ever since he lost his mom. Ever since he lost his mom, that's when you see him kind of spiraling, kind of going a little bit, loony. And I can understand that. When I lost my grandmother, that did something to me. That did something to me. And for a while, I was in my own depression for a while about losing my grandmother back in 92. So I get that. I think since he lost his mother, he's really has been at a loss of himself. But the fact of the matter is that what he expressed about not being able to speak freely, not being able to have your own thoughts that don't go with the herd, you get beat up. You get beat up, and on a lot of subjects. Missing said, I don't understand how he could be wrong, because first and foremost, we're all supposed to have freedom of speech. Exactly. That You can shut it down right there, because we are all supposed to have freedom of speech. As a spiritualist, I can't judge anyone's journey. You can't. Um, Trump is a big part of hip hop, just like Kanye said. Snoop, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Floyd Mayweather, 50 Cent, Mike Tyson. Right. Trump has been a part of all those people. He's joined in, and he's always been one to hang on to the hip hop community. But the fact that, so let me tell you guys a short little story about thinking freely. So when I got divorced in 2008, and that was the first time as an adult that I was dating. I've never dated as an adult before that time frame. I got married at 19 to my high school, to a girl I dated throughout high school, right? So I got out there and I first started dating. Met this young lady. She was a lawyer, right? But she was also one of the chairpersons for the state of Georgia Democratic Party, right? I don't know what she did with the Democratic Party in the state of Georgia, but she was all in it. And she asked me, she assumed initially that I was Democrat. And it was maybe around the third week of knowing each other that we were having a political conversation, and I disagreed with her about what, I don't even remember what the stance was, but I disagreed. And then she asked me point blank, aren't you Democrat? Are you not Democrat? And I was like, no, I'm independent. You got to win my vote. I don't give a dang if you're Republican, Democrat, independent, libertarian. You got to win my vote. I need to know who you are, your party, what you stand for, what you think. So that, she just got up from the table. I can't date you because you're a black man. How can you not be Democrat? Is what she said to me. And at that moment, I didn't even argue with it. I just like, bye. Because I wasn't allowed to think freely. As a black person, you're not allowed to not be Democrat. You will get crucified if you're not Democrat. People will look at you as if you are a traitor. And we can go through the history of how Democrats and then they like to talk about the Dixiecrats, how the Republicans took over the Democratic Party, the racist, all that stuff. So it's just like you can go around and around in circles. You can talk about how the Democrats don't do nothing for people, black people, nor does the Republicans. We can talk about that, and we're going to get there as well when we talk about the mental slavery aspect of it. But just in that moment, that's one of those moments where I realized you're not allowed to think freely as a black person. You have to be a Democrat. You have to toe the line. Otherwise, you get crucified. But there are so many other instances where we're not allowed to speak freely. And in that aspect of what he was saying, I agree with him wholeheartedly, 100%, that we're not allowed to think freely. Right? And I want to know what you guys think about that. There are plenty of videos, TV shows that show other things that Snoop and Trump did together. Yep. I'm not a fan of Kanye. I just like fairness. I'm the same. I just like it to be fair. Most black people before civil rights were Republican, exactly, because Republicans freed the slaves. But then, of course, they'll go into the whole Dixiecrat thing. I like Trump way before the president. He wasn't always bad, but I didn't vote for him. I should have. Easy way to make black people mad is to not support Obama. You're absolutely right. Now, and here's the thing about that free thinking. My library is filled with, I got every book Trump ever wrote on business. I got every book. I studied the man as a businessman. And of course, the ghostwriters never showed you what he showed us. He never showed, they never showed some of the arrogant. I mean, you knew he was arrogant. You knew he was like a jackass, but you never saw the stuff that you're seeing now, the stuff you start seeing. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I was apologetic for him at first, right? When he first came out and he said that the Mexicans, they just send us all their thieves and criminals and all that kind of stuff. Because of my military background, one of the things that I knew at the time is that the Mexican government, when their prisons are filled, will empty their prisoners, put them on a bus, take them to the American border, dump them off, give them a comic book to teach them how to get benefits and how to get into America. And I was like, that's what he meant. He just went off script. But then he just kept talking and kept talking. And after about 2 months, I was like, I don't know who this guy is. This ain't the guy from the book. This ain't the guy from The Apprentice show. I expect him to be harsh and brass, but it wasn't what I expected. So, yeah, I couldn't vote for him by the time we got there. And you're right. If you speak ill against Obama, then all of a sudden you're a traitor. Before Obama, be black and speak ill against Clinton. I couldn't stand Clinton. I saw more of my military people go on welfare and food stamps during the Clinton era because of putting us all the way up to 13% behind the poverty rate. I didn't like Clinton, and I saw all the prisons that they were building and the prison industrial complex that they were building. So I never liked Clinton, but I would get blasted for speaking against Clinton. You know, people like, he's a black president. I was like, that man is not black. I don't know why y'all calling a man from Arkansas black. It was insane to me. But you couldn't think freely like that. Say something, you get cursed out. I read KKK books and Hitler books, and I've always liked to see the way people are thinking. Look, I read Mein Kampf. Mein Kampf was a good book, to be honest. Now, was the man crazy? I believe the man was crazy. But he did everything he did based on religion. We're not talking about religion so much right now, but that's what he did it based on. Clinton locked up a lot of us. He sure did. Right. And, you know, the aspect of black people shutting down your freedom of thought, you can actually trace back during the time of slavery. Because if you was on the plantation, or you was in the town, or you was in any kind of environment of slavery during the 1800s, the 1700s, the 1600s, and you start talking about freedom, you start talking about running, you start talking about revolting, you would get shushed down because of the fear of what the master is going to do, the fear of what the white town folk going to do, the fear of the situation caused people to shut you down. If you start speaking, they're like, don't you speak that way. Mr. Thompson is good. He's a good man. He ain't done, never did nothing wrong to nobody. You know, you get shut down because you weren't supposed to talk about good master. Or even if it was a horrible master, you ain't talk about that because you're going to get us all killed. So it was, you were trained, our ancestors are trained through conditioning of fear and torture, but also loving of your enemy, to shut you down, to not speak, to keep it quiet, to not say anything. That you're supposed to keep your voice mute and just go along with the program and just keep going. Exactly. Don't be snitching, because you can't snitch. And Clinton is a disgrace, and he complete disgrace. And I ain't even talking about what he cheating on his wife. I'm talking about what they did to the black community. And one thing that people don't realize they did is they set a lot of things in motion that didn't happen until Bush came into office. A lot of those people got cut off of government programs. Clinton actually initiated them, but they didn't take effect until Bush was in office. And so people blame Bush for them. Not saying that Bush was great, because he wasn't, but I'm just saying we have to be able to look at the facts of things and not go based on how we feel. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of the shutting down of people's thoughts, the shutting down of a person's being able to think freely, is basically how people feel more so than facts. How they feel. People feel like the Democratic Party is their friend. People feel like we're in a state of freedom, but we're not. People want to feel like that, but they're not. Now, am I going to say that life is the same now as that we are suffering at the same level that people suffered in 50s, 60s, that people suffered in the 1800s? No, we're not. We're not. I mean, you're not physically enslaved for the most part. For the most part, you're not physically enslaved to the point where you're going and you're working for zero wages and you have no choice but to work for whomever. Like if you work for GE does not have you chained to the factory floor like some people did in the early 1900s. GE doesn't have you in a situation where you have no option but to work for them. Now, have we been entrapped? Is there like an entrapment of debt to income ratio, of quality of life, of poor financial instructions overall that's being taught to you through television and radio and through consumerism? We get into a wage slavery in that format, but the worst part of it is that we enslave ourselves more than anything else because we buy into the trap. We buy into that trap. We become physically enslaved because we will rather go eat the fast food. We would rather go eat the processed foods. And so our health deteriorates and we become physically enslaved to medications. We become physically enslaved to foods that are designed to make you, what's the word? Addicted to it, as well as alcohol and other drugs and things like that. You know, the drugs that are not that keep you, that you like. I don't know many people who get addicted to marijuana. I know people just like it, but not addicted in the level of heroin and what's that other, heck, I don't even know, cocaine and crack and those kind of things, or over the counter medication. The people getting addicted to all that stuff. You smoke? Nah, I don't smoke. I've tried it a couple times, but only like twice a year during certain meditations will I utilize something to help open your third eye and your crown chakra. But it's very rare that I do that. Very rare. They make a Kanye supported Trump and Beyonce supported Hillary. That's the difference. And it is, and we get caught up into that kind of thing. Now we are enslaved, and one other enslavement that we have is to celebrities. We get enslaved to celebrities. People were all mad about Starbucks, and they were mad about police shootings and that sort of thing. But then you get distracted by Kanye, you get distracted by DJ Khaled, you get distracted by some type of, what's up, John? You get distracted by some entertainer having something to say. That's why I did a video about how entertainers are not our leaders. Why do we keep propping them up? Allow entertainers to be the people that we look towards, instead of looking at business owners and moguls and things like that. Instead of looking at people who are actually doing something that can benefit the community, instead of looking at uplifting the people in your community that's mentoring boys, mentoring girls, instead of looking at them and propping them up as leaders, instead of the ones who are talking about let's go to Botswana, we're uplifting an entertainer, somebody who can sing, and we think their opinion like matters, right? Their opinion matters for some strange reason. We become enslaved to that, enslaved to them dictating who our leadership is. And as long as someone else dictates your leadership, then they control you. They control you physically at that point. But what they're controlling is your mind, and that's why I say that Kanye wasn't wrong. I don't think he was wrong at all. Is he brash? Yeah. Does he know how to express himself clearly? No. Does he get caught up emotionally? Oh, hell yes, definitely, right? But the fact of the matter is, what he said, and especially when he expressed it more so afterwards, is that we have been in a form of mental slavery for almost 400 years. For almost 400 years, those who came to America through the Atlantic slave trade have been forced initially into a physical slavery and also forced into that mental slavery. Now we all know that the African kings and chieftains who traded with the Europeans initially traded for guns so that they can fight their battles, fight their wars better. They did that. And they traded slaves. Now, of course, because slave trading has been around longer than the Atlantic slave trade. Slave trading has been around longer than recorded history. All right. So before anybody wrote down history, there were slaves. There was some form or fashion of slave trade. Chattel slavery, which is slavery based on race, and that goes for generation. You own the person for generation and generation, can pass them down. That also, in some form or fashion, has occurred in every culture. So I can never prop up any culture to say, well, they've always been great. And that's why I don't get into all the race baiting aspects of things. But the brutality, people like to say the brutality of the American slave trade was far worse. Evidently, you've never studied the brutality of the Roman slave trade. The brutality of the Roman slave trade was horrendous. All right. Some of the things that they did to their slaves was just nuts. All right. So it's like some of the maddest, maddening torturing that they were doing was crazy. But that doesn't diminish what happened in the Atlantic slave trade. It doesn't diminish that at all. It's just getting a clear scope on it. I feel like Kanye has become more routine. He's become more. It's becoming more than an entertainment. He's becoming a movement. Hopefully. I don't know if he's becoming a movement. See, the hard part about anybody like him becoming a movement is that he has to begin to take care of his words. And he doesn't take care of his words. So until he does that, he can't start a movement. Unless somebody comes along beside him who can care for his words. You know. So if he can learn that, But the other thing about a movement, I think Jamar said it wonderful. And this is just the way things are. This is the divine paradox. Kanye is black. He cannot be, he can have a white woman as his personal queen. But his personal queen can never be the queen of the movement. She can't be the queen of the kingdom. That can't that won't work. You know, Dr. King, if married to a white woman, no matter how charismatic he would have been, he could have never led the movement. That's why Sidney Poitier he done some great things, but Sidney Poitier could have never led the movement. He had the ability, he had the skill set, he had the desire, he had it in him, but you would never be able to prop him up as the king to lead the black community with a white wife. Not that I'm against interracial marriage, because I'm not. I can care less who you marry. But if your idea is to lead the movement of black people, it's not going to happen. Now, if he want to lead the interracial movement, he could do that. He can lead that kingdom because his home life displays it. But so he can't do that. He's never going to become. He can help, he can assist, but he can never lead it. He can never develop it. Right, Frederick Douglass was too, and that's why Frederick Douglass could only go so far. Frederick Douglass could only do so much, and he had to do it up north. Right, couldn't do that down south. And then it wasn't until after slavery that Frederick Douglass was able to go down and then be down there with Tuskegee, and he can build Tuskegee. But even at that, he couldn't build Tuskegee without Carver. Without Carver, Tuskegee, I mean, they had the money from Andrew Carnegie. But Carver was needed in order to build Tuskegee. That's why he did everything he could to get him down there, because he knew that he would have never been able to pull it off completely by himself, right? So the thing about it is the mental slavery aspect that he was speaking of. 400 years we have been. Our ancestors came over in slavery. We got to America. It was beaten into you to be a slave. It was conditioned into you to be a slave. You see, even when before the first slaves, before slavery was in America, and during the same time of slavery in America, Europeans, they had indentured servitude of other Europeans in America. But a very big difference is this. Some of the first slaves that they tried to enslave were the Native Americans. But a Native American, this was his land that he was familiar with. If the Native American decided to escape and run away, they can escape and run away and hide amongst the other tribes. When the European, who was an indentured servant, if he didn't want to fulfill his contract of 7 years, however long the years was, if they had an opportunity to run away, they can hide in plain sight amongst all the other white people. But the African in America sticks out like a sore thumb. You a slave in the South, you escape to the North, either somebody is still trying to bring you back, or somebody suspects, or they're looking for some paperwork. You still had a great possibility of becoming a slave again. That's what made that movie 12 Years a Slave, interesting, because you could be a free black man. You could have been born a free black man in the North, but yet if somebody decided to kidnap you and take you down, more often than not, you never left. You never left. It was a great ending to the movie. It was a great movie. But the reality is that when that sort of thing happened, you stayed and remained a slave. Your generations then became slaves. And there were very few laws that benefited the African slave. There were tons of laws in place for indentured servants. And like I said, the Native Americans, they look more familiar to the other Native Americans, so they can get away. Right? Even when slavery was abolished, you had slaves that didn't want to leave the plantation. Well, now, I hear you on that, Reggie. I hear you on that. Let me say, I think Marcus Garvey came the closest. Marcus Garvey, I believe he was the closest to pulling that off. That's why I'm studying him again right now. Here's the thing about leaving the plantation. When slavery ended, there weren't a lot of opportunities for slaves. But one opportunity that many slaves saw was sharecropping. They saw the opportunity to sharecrop. They believed that now they were going to get a fair shake with their former master, because they knew their former master couldn't run that land that they had, right? So they figured that they had a good deal. That was akin to how in the for a long time in the 50s, 60s, well, actually about the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, even the 80s and early 90s, the military was a way out for black people. So a lot of black people chose the military because it was a way out. It was one of the few opportunities. You go to college, you get a job, or you go to the military. That was your options. Starting a business wasn't really one of those options. So when during that time frame, a lot stayed on there because they thought they was going to get a fair shake until them Jim Crow laws started slapping them around, and they realized that they were in just. That's why many ran west. Many ran west because they realized they weren't getting a fair deal. And even when they got out west and they thought things was going to be fair, they got out west and realized you're still not getting a fair deal, which is why Marcus Garvey was, let's go back to Africa. Let's leave. And later this week, we're going to do our first Botswana planning session. All right. We're going to go over some of the information that I've acquired, and we're going to start breaking things down and preparing ourselves and to leave. All right. So Marcus Garvey he was of the right mindset. Now, other people have said that, but they haven't done it. You know, when I was growing up, that's what I was hearing from the Nation of Islam, that we got to separate. All right, then go back to Africa. But none of them wanted to leave. They kept wanting to stay here. Right, and I understand some people want to stay here. Some people can't. Some people's mental slavery is that they can't even leave this country. Like, I want you to think about that. You can't leave this country. That's Stockholm syndrome. That's you've been the woman who's been abused by the man and she can't leave, or the man who's been made to feel so guilty about his relationship with the woman that he can't leave. You know, when you say that you can't leave America, you're in a form of mental slavery. I mean, you really are. I hate to break that to you. I hate to be the one to break it to you. But if you say I can't leave America, not I don't want to leave America because my family is here. I don't want to leave America. Hell, that's the only reason I can think of. Not a person, that's really the only justification. Because everything you have here, you can either find it somewhere else or you can create it somewhere else. So maybe your mother is old, your daddy is old, and you don't want to leave yet because they old. That's the only reason. Kids, I guess I'm going. I got a long con to make sure my kids go, but we leaving. Indoctrination also, and dependency. Right, we have a dependency, and that dependency creates that mental slavery. Say I met a former slave, my best friend's grandmother, when I was 13. When he was 13, she died at 115 years old. Like, and that's how close the time frame is. That's exactly how close the time frame. That it hadn't really been that long, and that's you're talking about 360 something years of just being taught it, beaten into your head. You wake up slave, you die slave. You know, you're born a slave, you die slave. Born a slave, you die slave. Asha says, why? Curious why Botswana? All right. Well, here's the reason why I look at Botswana. One is sub-Saharan Africa, for one. Two, Botswana is kind of pre-industrial, right? They've been spending the last 30 to 40 years trying to industrialize, bringing their people out of the farms, getting them educated. 40 years ago, only like 10% of the population was literate. Now it's around 70% of the population is literate. They're really in a position where if they got a spark, if they got a big push of engineers and doctors and lawyers and construction, people who understand, not the engineer, not architect, but just the guys on the ground, brick masons and all those kinds of people who can come in and help build a nation. And they're not coming there with their hand out, coming in saying that, hey, here's all our talents. It's like LeBron. I'm taking my talents to Miami. We're taking our talents to Botswana. And they're in a position where we won't be overlooked. You see, if we try to go to Nigeria or Ghana or Ivory Coast, we will be overlooked. We would be pretty much like any other expatriate that's coming in country. I'm looking at countries where we can go there and be a great improvement to ourselves and them, right? Where it's also opportunity to build things that you may not, that's more difficult here in America. Uh, I was talking to one gentleman, football coach. I don't really have American football coaches there. There are some expats there. If we bring 10,000 Americans over there, you can build your own program. Their basketball program is really only engineered for the Olympics, and they're not that great. So bringing over the training and the expertise of somebody who studied American basketball to the length of to be close up and study as we have, you have an element that you're bringing in to bear. See, it's not always about just the higher education people. It's about every facet of society that we bring in. Shopkeepers, store owners, bringing new types of clothing and food and music and things like that, and bringing that, people don't know, some people may not know this, but Rick Ross has been spending a lot of time in Nigeria, in the Nigerian music scene, because it's growing like crazy over there. I mean, the African music scene is huge. So there's all kinds of opportunity. You give me a person who's a musician to go over there and teach saxophone, to teach piano, bass, these sorts of things. There's so many opportunities that we can help to develop a country so that in the next 50 to 100 years, that country becomes a world power. Most African nations don't have the ability to refine their metals, but we can do that. We can do things like that. All right, so if you single and no kids, leave. Hey, I have kids. I'm still leaving. I don't want to leave America because I can't even say that word. Out of chas. All right, you gotta explain that, Desmond, because I don't know what that word is. And see, I have no problem admitting that when I don't know what something is. I don't know what that word is. Just a simple life, Renz. Also, a lot of us believe in the land of African hates us, that old narrative, and that's a bunch of and see, that's the form of the mental slavery that they put on you to make you think that African, and see, that's what they made Africans think that black Americans don't like them, and made black Americans think that Africans don't like them. I just spent 45 minutes earlier today talking to a young man from Somalia, right? And here's what's funny about it. He was telling me his family came over here in '94, and what Somalia has been doing is they have certain educational platform that they want, and they have a facility here in America, in Minnesota, where they're bringing young Somalis over here, getting their education in America, and then they go back to Somalia and with that education to build whatever it is. They're making sure it's not too many engineers. They got 100 engineers and 100 doctors and 100 architects and 100 of these people and different talents, and they are sending them to America to bring them back to Somalia. And we spent 45 minutes talking about that, and he gave me the information to the just make sure y'all know I ain't lying. I'm gonna say this is what he gave. He wrote, I had him write it down, the place, and it's in Minnesota, but it's the Minnesota Somali community, and they're changing that to the national Somali community. Yeah, other countries are doing this, but that's why I picked Rwanda. I mean, not Rwanda. Botswana is one of the countries. Now, if people don't want to go that far, I do think we can do the same thing in Haiti, so I don't mind doing Haiti as well. And yeah, we will have to have an American base. So I'm talking to somebody right now. We're going through plans of creating an American center, kind of like the Somalis have a center in America, creating an American center that coordinates with Haiti and Botswana so that we can facilitate this and really do it well. I don't want to do this. This can't be a half-butt plan, right? I think where Marcus Garvey did not succeed is his American base didn't have that. It helped people to get over there, but it wasn't strong enough to really help people to get over there. And then he didn't have a good connection when they got there. So that's what we're looking at. That's why I'm looking to do it a little bit different. I'm taking some of his lessons, some of the things he did, but have an American base, have a Haiti base, and have a Botswana base. And then from there we grow, because other countries, we will then incorporate other countries thereafter to build a true African Union, to be able to stand the test of time. And for me, guys, this is like a 300-year plan. All right. I'm not looking to solve the issue in 10 years. I'm looking at 300 years of unification, of building. All right. And it's going to take time. It's not something that you just do overnight. When I participated in in nation building for Latvia. I did that for 3 years. We worked on that. From when we started, and I worked on it for 3 years of building Latvia with the U.S. government, and it kept going for the next 20 years. So it wasn't just like, oh, 3 years, we're up. This is a 3-year mission. No, it was 20 years in the making. So it takes time, and we do have to get past that lift. They did have cameras back then, and they have pictures of slaves being auctioned, but they don't have pictures of ships. Natural ship. They question the authenticity. When you go to Africa, you will see so many whites and Asian people. They know the benefits of being over there. You do. You are seeing more whites and Asians over there. That's another reason why Botswana, there's only 3% white people, and it's like a very, very low percent of Asians. It is mostly just black people. It's one of those, it's a country that many are overlooking right now, and that's another reason why I looked at Botswana, is because people are overlooking it. And oftentimes where somebody overlooks something, that's your opportunity. That's your opportunity to get in. If you saw the video I was talking about how I was looking at the coffee industry in Atlanta, there's a whole lot of space that the coffee industry overlooks in Atlanta. That's your opportunity to get in. You still got to be, you still got to be careful of what you choose, but that's your opportunity. Another reason why I chose Botswana is more tolerant. If it was an Arab nation, more Arab controlled nation, I wouldn't have chosen it at all, because it's going to be theocratic, and they're not theocratic. And they really are geared towards increasing the people. And that's another reason why. Right, exactly. Like that's why I got into gourmet popcorn. It's an industry that's been overlooked, and that being what I'm building for this company over the next 5 years is going to help facilitate these centers that we're going to have here in America and in Haiti, as well as Botswana. That's one reason why I'm going to the Botswanan embassy late this summer, to start glad handing and meeting people and building connections. And probably sometime at the end of 2019, take that first, look-see trip. It sounds like a trade would be very beneficial in Botswana. What about degrees? I mean, degrees are good. Having both. See, here's the thing. This is what you got to understand about nation building. It takes both. It takes both. Botswana has been very good at. They've been educating their people, trying to getting them into university and things like that. But it takes both. You don't need a degree to build roads. You go too far out away from the city center of Gabon, which is the capital, and it's dirt road. So that's just trade, to be able to build dirt roads and make sidewalks and things like that. So, but we also need the architect. We need the civil engineers who have learned how to create highway systems and roadway systems. Water and farming architecture. I mean, farm engineering is something that's going to be needed, but not just the engineers. The one who can handle the heavy equipment. We need that. People who understand international banking and banking. We need that. So that's higher at the highest level down to the lowest level. So this is not one. It's not just one. Nation building, one of the things people mess up about nation building, they think that it takes just the higher level stuff, but it actually takes everything. Hell, we need police. We need people who can reinforce the police department, right? But not police that's going to kill us. But with 79% of the population being black, all right? Wait a minute, is that right? It's a higher percentage. It's like 90-something% of the population being black. It's 76% of the population is Christian. That's what I was mixing up. And they are very tolerant, so we're not worried about that. But if everybody's black, then you're less likely that somebody calls you because you're a black man standing in the parking lot, right? You actually probably have to look threatening, like with a gun or a knife or something like that, threatening, climbing over a wall or something. But just walking down the street, you're a black man, you're common, right? You're normal. That's another reason why I say, like, some people ask me, why didn't I choose South Africa? That's a nice, flashy thing to choose. But we're not going for flash. We're going for substance. We're going for substance, right? And yeah, there's a lot of Christianity going over there, but we're not worried about that. As long as they're tolerant, as long as we can come in and we can do our thing. And here's the thing about it. This is one thing that you can learn this from the opposite, and this is that mental slavery thing. Um, in Haiti, many people, South Africa's like Atlanta is full. Yeah, it is. Many people in Haiti convert to Christianity because the Christians are feeding them where they can't get food. The Christians won't allow them to use their hospitals or go to their schools unless they convert to Christianity. So eventually you give in because you want your child to have medicine, you want your child to have food, you want to have some food, you want to have some housing, you're tired of suffering. So necessities, exactly. So you have necessities, and that converts people over. Now, when we go to Botswana, and regardless of, I'm gonna be honest with you. If a person is coming to me, if they Christian, but they saying, "Look, I just want to go to Botswana. I'm tired of America. I want to build Wakanda in Botswana. So I'm down for the cause." And they're not trying, and they strictly understand that this is not about you pushing your religion. I don't have any problem with that. But the thing about it, in the reverse of that, when we go to Botswana and we say that, "Hey, we're coming, but we're not coming to take from you." I was raised by a family that said that you don't show up at somebody's house and they're having a potluck and all you got is a plate and a fork and a knife. No, you bring something to the table. You bring it. You know, you got to bring a dish. Matter of fact, I just got a text today for an event I got next month where everybody's got to bring a dish. Matter of fact, this weekend my family's having a cookout, and I got a text, I got a call about bringing a dish. So, you know, we go in there bringing. We have to bring something. And when you're bringing, I tried to go to Botswana. This is what's funny, guys. Botswana has been on me for a while. When my last IT contract ended in 2003, I was an IT trainer at that time. I had 5 guys. I was like, look, we can go to Botswana and we can start teaching IT. The government is willing to give us a building, provide the equipment. They're going to pay us for every student. And so they're paying. We good. We're good. But their wives wouldn't leave, wouldn't let them leave. So it kind of fizzled for me. But I was going to go there and open up an IT school in 2003 in Botswana. I knew then of the plenty, the gold rush, so to speak. But the idea was I'm bringing something that the country desired. So they're not caring about what my beliefs are. They're caring about what you're doing is uplifting our people, is uplifting our country. And now that this was supposed to be about, is Kanye right or wrong? Y'all not got me onto what we supposed to be talking about later this week. But so I'm gonna go back to what we was talking about. But I'm gonna finish this thought. So when we're bringing our talent, so to speak, when we're bringing that, then we're bringing something that the country desires, the country needs, that they will have appreciation for. And when people see that, oh, you've come there and you brought, I don't know how many ice cream shops they got down. I don't, just throwing something out there, something simple. You've come over and you brought this ice cream shop, or you come over and you created something that they didn't have, like you're new, you're the first one to bring this, or you go in there and you open up an IT school, and they see that the benefit is that they get to get educated, or they get products that they couldn't get before, or services that they couldn't get before, and you're bringing that to the table, and all of a sudden their economy starts lifting, their condition, their status of their ability to live more comfortably starts lifting. People don't care about what you believe at that point. They care about what you brought to their table, and that's what we're bringing. We're bringing substance to their table, right? And then over generation, we'll make their table our table as well, because it's about the unity of it all. I can ask Kanye to invest. Here's the thing about that. To be honest, I really don't want any celebrities involved in this. In the early years, I don't want any celebrities involved in it, because celebrities ruin the true leadership. All right. They ruin the true leadership. I want entrepreneurs, business people. The first stages of this will be over the next 5 years, if you have a business or you want to build a business, let's build it here in America. Let's build it now so that it can facilitate and fund you going, but keep income coming to you while you're there. That allows you to build stuff over there, to see opportunities to build it there, right? So and I don't want entertainers, because then, yes, exactly like Reagan said, once you get the entertainers, they want to control it for their own purposes, and so they can stand on a stage and say, "This is what I've done." I don't. It's not about that, and quite frankly, I would discourage any. If an entertainer came to me today and said they want to fund it, I would make them sign a non-disclosure agreement that you can't say jack about this for 20 years, because it ain't about you. And if they say that they ain't signing nothing like that, then it tells me what they truly are trying to give for. So no. And I know some people think they can bring awareness. I'd rather go grassroots. The majority of them are doing it. Something. No, I want you doing it because you know that you're doing what's good for the people, and ultimately it'd be good for the world. It'd be good for the world. Believe that Kanye, we are in a form of mental slavery in the way that we take care of our health, in the way that we relate to one another, the way we. I mean, let's think about this. Let's think about this for a second. When the Italians came over, the Anglo-Saxons called them all kind of derogatory names, but yet the Italians don't call themselves that derogatory name. When the Irish, before the Irish came over, when they were being treated poorly in the British Isles, and then when they came over and they were treated poorly, they were called all kind of names, and you do not hear them walking around calling each other those names. But yet, as Malcolm used to say, the African in America seems to hang on and try to cultivate a word that spells disaster for them, but yet they continue to do it. This is why I feel more anger or frustration or want to slap somebody down if a black person call me a derogatory name that I'm never going. I never mention. I feel more pain when a black person says that than a white person. When I hear it on the street, it drives me. It just makes it's like something twisting in my brain, because it makes no sense. That type of mental slavery. See, when people think that it's just words. You remember that whole thing of sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me? That's a lie. That's a lie. I can heal from a broken bone. If you hit me with a stick and cause a bruise, the bruise will heal and I can never see it and forget that it ever existed. I got bruises and scars and marks on me that happened when I was a child, and I don't even remember how they happened, and it doesn't affect me. But things that people said to me when I was being picked on for being dark-skinned, that carried a longer mental scar in me up through my adulthood. When people picked on me for my skin tone, black people, you too dark to date my daughter. I literally had a woman put a brown bag up against my skin and say, you too dark to date my daughter. Those types of things. That's the mental slavery that I agree and believe that Kanye was truly expressing. All right. I believe he was truly expressing. That's why I haven't said anything negative about what he said. And that's why I had no intentions of saying anything negative about what he said. And I understand the brother in the back, they got into it, him and Van, and Van has a right to his opinion. He has a right to his opinion. But the thing about it is, now, did he do things that helped some people in the country who took advantage of those things? Sure, every president does. I can find something that every president has done that somebody took advantage of and they were able to pull themselves up or get out of their situation. But the fact that you point that out doesn't make you a bad guy, right? Doesn't make him a bad guy. I'm just watching him to see if it's true or not. And here's the thing about watching him to see if it's true or not. And this is what we got to stop doing. It don't matter if he's true or not. What we have to say is, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Right? What am I going to do? Okay, so I live in an apartment complex right now for the next few months. I live in an apartment complex. I don't like apartment complex. I don't like it. Let me not say I don't like apartment complex. I like condo buildings downtown. But right now, I'm in an apartment complex. It's beautiful that every time I come home, there are little kids outside playing, right? But every day when I come up the stairs, the little girls I call them little ladies, beautiful queens, the little boys, little kings, little princes, or depending on what they're doing, say something to them that's encouraging or at least nice. Nothing, not negative, not fussing, not get off the steps, move out the way. You know, you kids playing too loud. I let kids be kids, but then give them encouragement. We gotta look out. Every little thing matters. It's the smallest thing that matters to a kid. You never know what little thing that you say changes a kid's mindset. So we have to get rid of our own mental slavery to change our mindset of how we respond and react to one another. You know, we see, like, you see the person that you're supposed to be in love with. How do you treat them every day? Do you go out of your way to treat them well, to make them feel loved, or do you ignore them? Right? Those are forms of mental slavery. You got to understand, if you want to break a nation, first thing you got to do is break the household. You got to break the household. So we, over these next 3 to 5 years, as we prepare and start building centers, one of the things, the biggest thing is we have to break all these forms of mental slavery. A big one is we have to break our forms of mental slavery of our finances. Many people, most black people and most people period in this country, are running around with subpar credit scores. We got to fix that. We got 3 to 5 years to fix that, right? Get your credit right. Then we got to make some investments that most people are scared to make because of the mental slavery. And because everybody, here's the thing, here's the thing about it. And I'm gonna use an animal analogy because I like animals. Most of us run around and we'll say that we're lions. And actually, this would be a good video by itself. But most of us run around and we say that we're lions. But lions get up every day and they go on the hunt, right? And if a lion saw a dead animal, a lion is not going to hunt that dead animal. It's going to go after. You know, only an injured, sick lion will go after an injured animal. But a healthy, strong, ferocious lion goes after the gazelle, the big water buffalo. They go after what they want. Many of us think that we're lions, but we're not. We're not lions. We start to fall into two categories. Once the lion makes the kill, here comes the hyenas and the jackals, trying to steal from the lion, coming late to the party. And they try to steal and try to take from the lion. If it's just a lioness out there, then they try to gang up on the lion. They come in droves. They never come one. They come in droves. They wait for everybody else to show up, and then they want to show up. But now they're just trying to take what from somebody else. And then the worst thing that the masses of black people fall into, which we have to change, is the vultures. You see, after the lion has had his fill, after the hyenas have had their fill, then here comes the vultures. They're picking over the scraps, and they're fighting over the scraps. They're waiting for, they've let all the work be done, and now they're coming in late and they're getting the worst parts that's left over, right? They're getting the worst parts that's left over. Damn, this is going to be a good video by itself when I shoot this one tomorrow. But they get the worst parts that's left over. We do that. Let's look at the real estate industry. How many times have the real estate is whatever's going on, because real estate is always a good industry. It's never bad. It's not bad. Let me tell you why most people think it's bad. Because most people, the lions already got the lion's share. That's why it's called the lion's share. They already hunted it down. They look at what's going now. Now the hyenas and the jackals, they'll run in late. They'll see that, okay, and I see you done bought this land, you done did some development. Oh, I see you've been buying them tax liens and you've been getting them at a good rate because, you know, people have been losing their houses. I see you've been doing that. All right, yeah, okay. Now I'm gonna try to get the one next to you now. Now I'm gonna try to come in a little bit like, oh, I'm gonna go to this little program, you know, where they told me I can do it easy. I'm gonna go do that. Right? And they go do that and they make a little bit, they get something, they get the leftovers, right? They get the parts that's left. But then the worst thing is that after all that, and we've seen people make money, then we come in like vultures and running in. Like I watch people go, you're late. You're trying to, you're so we have to stop that mentality, that waiting for somebody else to go and hunt it down first. I got into IT in 2000. Well, no, it was 99 when I got into IT. I got out the Marine Corps in 98. At the middle of 98, got into IT in 99. I was at the tail end of the lion's share. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was at the tail end of the lion's share because of my timing of getting out the military. But I got to eat, right? I hunted down things. I got into network security before it became what it is. Before biometrics really took hold, I was already into biometrics. So I got into that lion's share of that. And I watched as the bubble burst, and then I started teaching because I saw the opportunity in teaching. And then I watched the bubble burst, and I watched all these people run in. Now all of a sudden these people running in trying to teach. You know, they got all their little degrees and they've been doing the work and they did all them things, and then they want to teach. But the worst thing that I saw is that the bubble burst right around 93, 94, and then I saw a bunch of black people trying to get into IT. I'm like, y'all late. You're late. And here's the thing, let me be specific. They were trying to get into IT as a networker, right? As a network administrator. You were late. In 2003, you should have been looking at becoming a database administrator or security, working in security or working in communications. But they were late. And here was and the Lions now went on to the next stage of IT. Right? I was getting my project. I had got my project management certification. I was into the lion's share, and they were coming in late, trying to get the scraps that was left over. So we have to stop that mentality if we want to move, if we want to do this, right? If we want to change the way we're perceived. For those who want to stay in America, you want to change your perception, then you got to realize that you have to own the land in your communities. You have to stop allowing somebody else to dictate what's being taught in your schools. You have to show up at the police department and make sure that the police chief and the police officers know that you're a community that won't allow for your kids to be treated a certain way, right? You have to own the businesses in your community and make sure that you're rotating the money in your community. Do whatever you have to do. You see, like I said in a different video, if I opened up a beauty supply store in the black community, then the first thing I'm going to do as I'm getting ready to open my store is I'm getting people, we're going to stand in front of the other beauty supply stores, the one that don't support the community, and we're going to hold our signs up as we were picketing and protesting them, and we're going to hand them information saying that we're opening this new one over here. Sister, why you going in there? We got one right here that's black on black operated, that's supporting this elementary and this junior high and this high school, that's supporting this community effort in the community. We're doing this over here. So we need, if you want to support your own community, the place you live, this is what we're doing. And in the back, we have financial classes every month to help you understand credit and finances. So if you want to support your community, come to ours. I would make sure, I don't care if I had to pay people to do it. I'd do it for a year until I ran that one out of business. It's all business, so it ain't nothing about being fair. This ain't about your emotions. It's about doing business, and that's what I would do. I would run them like that, right? That's how I would do it. But we got to get that. See, that's that business mindset that the Lions are out there doing. The Lions are seeing the opportunity. They're going to take it, and they're doing whatever's necessary. When the female lions get out there and hunt, oh, is it fair that one pushes the herd towards the other ones? Oh, fairness would be they just got to outrun them. No, they push them into the trap. We got to push. We got to think like lions. Stop sitting up here being a cheetah thinking I'm just going to outrun everybody. If I just run faster, I'll get there. Now, I missed a whole bunch of what y'all was saying because I was caught up into that whole thing right there. So you think Kanye's comments were newsworthy? I don't think they were newsworthy, but I'm glad that they were newsworthy because a lot of people are starting to think about it, and it's caused conversation. Now, unfortunately, it's called division among black people, but that's good too because division creates conversation, and hopefully from the conversation, we come back to togetherness and come into an understanding. And yes, it is old news. We all know it, but see, that's the thing. I did a video about a month ago called "Just Because You Know Better Doesn't Mean You Do Better." We know. Everybody on this video right now knows. Everybody who's going to watch this, you know better, but we just don't do it because of that mental slavery, because the thought police will beat you up. So we know better. We know better. Every person who goes to a beauty supply store, tell me you can't find it online. Tell me you can't order $1.2 trillion in America. We could do it. But we just don't. We know better. We know it'll be better for our community, but we don't. Everybody who goes to a church or who's part of an organization, a fraternity, sorority, who's part of a golf club, tennis club, whatever kind of club you know that you can create these things and do these things, but you just don't do it. Knowing better doesn't mean you do better, but we have to do better. Meek Mills, that's petty. I don't know. I don't even know who Meek Mills is. I've heard the name. I know he went to jail for something. They were something free Meek Mills, but I have no idea about that. I don't pay attention to a lot of those people, to be honest. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't even have known. I wouldn't have never even paid attention to Kanye. Never seen the media be so upset. Don't buy the hype on that one either, right? Let me tell you something about a lot of white media. When you bring up slavery, they're not upset about the fact that there were slaves. They're upset about the fact that now you're putting their ancestors in a bad light. Nobody likes their ancestors in a bad light. I used to get in arguments with black people when I used to say, like, why y'all act like all the black people in Africa were so nice and sweet and good? I mean, we had wars, we had conflict, we had disagreement, we did negative things. This was mostly Nation of Islam guys. I was like, why y'all acting like that? You know, everybody has good and bad, but people don't like to think about their ancestors negatively. So white media is pissed because, like, why are you ripping off that scab? We trying to just act like it don't exist. You know, we pulled our shirt over the scab, nobody can see it. Why are you trying to do that? I don't want to hear that. Renz, do you think starting a civil war amongst black people is a good thing? Starting a civil war among black people? Like us fighting each other physically, violently? Wag the dog strategy. Yeah, I mean, I can see wag the dog, keep you distracted. Fighting a civil war amongst black people, that'll never happen. That won't happen here in America. Hell, the closer you'll see that is what you see right now going on in places like Chicago, where we're killing ourselves in the inner cities. But think about it: we're killing ourselves over trying to have necessities, trying to have resources, right? The what you see in those situations. Yep, Natasha's beauty supply store and Kanye's Joe, black on black opera. Exactly. I actually know. I met her several years ago. I can't remember the exact year. I think it was like 2011, 2000. No, it was 2012. I met her, and actually we talked about business and we talked about like how her store was set up and that sort of thing. And when my store was in Lithonia, I used to send people to her location who were looking for a black hair care supplier. But Candace Owens said, I don't know who Candace Owens is. Like I said, I don't pay a lot of entertainers. I have no idea who they are. If I see one more slave movie, I'm with you. But oh, resources, black people fighting. See, this is part of that thing, part of the way you stay divided. This is the Civil War. Is that when you look at the black community, and most of the black community is in middle income to lower income, middle income to low income communities, which is disproportionately jacked up. But the fact of the matter is that because we have that situation, what we're looking at is finite resources for too many people. It's kind of like how, you know, you'll hear white people talking about overpopulation of the planet. And of course, many of the racist ones want to exterminate the non-white people. But many of the rich ones, they just want to get rid of people, period. But the thing about it is, when you're in the black community, one of the ways we see our way out is sports. But we know that only 13, 15 people can be on a basketball team. It's a limited resource. Only so many can be on a football team or baseball team, limited resource. We know that going to school, getting college educations. Now, even though you can make your own way, most see it as a limited resource. So many don't care, don't utilize the opportunity. They see people make it and they see people go. But then what they also see is that I'm sitting here on the street, and what I see is this drug dealer guy, he has money all the time. I see that this guy's able to help his mama pay rent. I see they have a nice car. They live in the projects, but they drive a nice car, right? They got big rims on it. So we see that there's the feel initially of limited resources. So we look at where people have achieved, well, seemingly achieved resources, and people gravitate towards it. But even that resource is limited. Even that resource is limited. You know, the drug game resource is limited. Only so many drug dealers can exist in a community before the supply is higher than the demand. And once the supply is higher than demand, then the price goes down. And when the price goes down, your ability to make money changes. So you got to eliminate your competition so that your competition doesn't drive down your price. So because there's limited resource, because you can't go stand on the corner in a middle class, upper middle class area or a wealthy area. You can't do it there. So you're limited. And because of that limited resource, we fight amongst ourselves for the crumbs. For the crumbs. All right? And it has this duality. Yeah, I know the world's not overpopulated, but that's what they'll tell you, though. That's what they'll tell you. The world is not overpopulated. And there aren't a limited amount of resources. But the duality of it is we have to escape the mental slavery of if we build something in our community, we have to support it. But those who build something in the community has to support the community. I don't know if you guys are following my business chronicles, but they're mostly on Instagram and Facebook. Well, they're all on Instagram and Facebook. I don't think I put those on YouTube. But the fact of the matter is, when I open this store in South DeKalb Mall, I'm not hiring people from outside the community. That's not going to happen. You have to live over there for me to hire you. Like I don't care if you're black and you live on the other side of town, I'm probably not going to hire you. I'm going to hire somebody who lives on that side of town. One, it's just a better thing for me to do for my business, that if my employee is in a position that they can easily get to work. The second aspect of it is, as I mentor these young people who work for me, I need them to understand their community. Third, it's also good for me that their friends and family who live in that community, the people they went to school with, because I don't hire high schoolers, that those people know that they work at this place. So it's good marketing for me as well. So it's a one hand wash the other kind of situation. But we have to recognize business at that level in order to be able to do it and to attract people in, and then change them once we get them in. See, if I went to young people to say, hey, I want to teach you how to do business. But if I say, hey, I want you to come work for me, I'm going to pay you. And as I pay you, I'm going to teach you how to build business, because I don't want you working for me. I'm going to teach you finances because I don't want you to be broke while you're working for me. And I want you to carry that throughout the rest of your life. Y'all can't understand how much. So one of my former employees called me like 3 weeks ago, her daughter's birthday party. She wanted to do a popcorn bar, and of course I facilitated it. I charged her, of course, but just to hear her, to talk to her and hear what she's doing now, and how from me she went on and worked for Delta, and now she's got her nursing degree and she's working as a nurse. To see that, I feel my part. And to know she's handling her finances the way I taught her, I know I did my part. That's the mentality business owners have to have going into our community, right? And we ain't gonna save everybody. We ain't saving everybody. I can't save everybody. All y'all ain't going with me to Botswana. And for the ones who may say, well, I don't want to go to Botswana, but I go to Haiti, half of y'all ain't going there either. And and I'm gonna be honest with you, even for building stuff here in America, most of the people ain't gonna do that either. They'll wait. They're vultures. They'll wait for it to be safe. They'll wait for it to be okay. And that's the saddest part of mental slavery, but we have to do it that way. That's how all leadership is done. That's how all movements occur, right? All movements occur because a few people decided that they were not going to allow for the status quo to still be the status quo. So as long as we don't do that, as long as there's a few, that's why I said I only need 10,000 to go with me to Botswana. And really, I'm saying 10,000, and all I really need is 1,000. You give me 1,000 people going to Botswana, what I could do with 1,000 people in a place like that, and that 1,000 is going to be rich in about 20 years after we get there or sooner. But that 1,000 makes it safe for the next 9,000. And then that 9,000 makes it super safe for the next 100,000. And after the 100,000, then all of a sudden it becomes part of just the mental ethos that, hey, I ain't got to stay here in America. I can go to Botswana because my uncle went there 20 years ago. My granddad is over there. My great granddaddy went over there. My grandmama, she over there. So it becomes second nature that you can do it. And here's the proof of that. He said 100. Good. I'm glad you're interested. So look, I'm keeping track of all y'all who keep saying that stuff that y'all interested. Because when it comes down to it, y'all know the nice coach friends. Y'all don't know the country coach friends that'll be on one of these videos, and I'll be talking some all these swords. I thought you was interested. Where you at? I call you out in a heartbeat, like that embarrassing mama who come to the party with the rollers on, yelling out your name. I do not. But let me give you an example of how that mindset changes. Right. So I was in the Marine Corps. I went over to Germany. I stayed in Germany for 3.5 years. While I was over there, my sister-in-law at the time, she was at home here in America depressed. I pretty much con her into coming over to Germany just to give life another shot. She came over there, she gave life another shot, had some rough times, you know, some bumps in the road, but then bam, she built a new life for herself. Now, once she got over there and she built a new life, now then I left in '97. She started building a new life for herself. All of a sudden, when my niece graduated from high school, I said, Constance, why don't you go on over to Germany with your Aunt Hope, you know, get your job and do something. She went over there, got her job. When her aunt left, she stayed. So it wasn't a big deal. It was an easy transition, and that's just one generation. One generation said that, oh, dang, my uncle went over there, my aunt went over there, my other aunt went over there. Bam. It's not a big deal for me to leave America because her mindset had that opportunity already. All right. So let's see. Okay, so there was a question, Holly Swartz, after I called you out. I know your kids are living. What about your parents? If yes, is it easy for you to leave them? Okay, so my mother is still alive. My father passed away in 2015. My mother is still alive. Yes, I will leave my mother. And not only and you have to understand, for me here in Atlanta, it is not just my mother. I don't know if you guys saw any of the videos last year, Labor Day weekend, but like about 60 members of my family go on a family vacation trip. And like we're having this big old picnic on this upcoming weekend. We're planning our Labor Day weekend again. I got aunts who are in their 60s, who are in late 60s. My mom's in she's 70. I got other uncles who are 60s, and yeah, because my uncle was 69, but he lives in London, so he don't count. But but I got other uncles, and I got a plethora of cousins and nephews and nieces and great nephews and great nieces. And there's no such thing as great cousins, but I got great cousins and all that. I'm leaving. But I know some of the members of my family. Once I get there, once it's safe, some of them jokers be like, hey, look him. I'm coming over there. I'm going to come visit, come check you out. But I'll leave. I have no problems. I'll roll out in a heartbeat. Because think about it. My mom, I've taught her how to do the video chat. So we're good. And I can probably con my mom into coming. If I can con my sister to bring her grandkids, I can con my mom. You know, I'm going to run that game on her. Don't worry about it. But I can leave. She's just a flight away. If you want to have a serious planning meeting or just have a community forum, consider having an event at the Black Dot Culture Center and Black Bookstore on Main Street in Lithonia. Oh. You and Kevin have been trying to pull something together for a minute. Hey, I'm going to do that. But do me a favor, Asha. Because I don't know if I'll be able to see these chats afterwards. So if I don't see that, after this video is over, repeat that in the chat again to make sure that I can see that. Because actually, me and Kevin were just talking about putting this thing together because the first place we was talking about, that lady just whiffed us. So Kevin, I was talking to him today and we was like, we got to hurry up and find a space. So yeah. And I'll go out there tomorrow. It's on Main Street in Lithonia, so I can find it. So I'll go out to Lithonia tomorrow. I'm going to Lithonia tomorrow. So tomorrow, mid-morning, I'm going to Lithonia. Plain and simple. I'm going to go find it and talk to, yeah. Why hasn't the lecture information been posted yet? And that's why, Reginald, because the place that we was trying to get, they faded us. And today I went down to the Savoy in Stockbridge, and they was hemming and hawing. So tomorrow I'm going to Lithonia. Because we're going to do this. And I told Kevin we can't have things where we do it and we talk about it, but we can't do it because then that just destroys the credibility for anything that we want to do. And that I can't have. Cannot have that, especially with what we're trying to break down. We're trying to break away from the idea that black people can't do business. That's another mental slavery we have. Black people can't do business right. Black people do business, ghetto business. No, we gotta get rid of that. Rolling Thunder, I appreciate that. Thank you for that donation. Y'all don't know how much that means to me because it's not so much about it. Just I don't know. It just makes me feel some kind of way. I don't even know how to express it, but I appreciate that. Man, I got a big family too, but we divided up like a mug. Yeah, mine is huge, and that's another thing. Like the fact that I leave, some of the people in my family will leave and I know my daughters, my girls will leave. My girls would leave. They may, but I might have my oldest girl stay here a little bit longer. My middle child, that girl probably leave in a heartbeat. And that boy, he's really attached to his mom, so yeah. But my oldest girl, there's some business things I'm gonna need for her to do, and the boy, I might need him to do some business things here for me too. He may come like in 7 years. Uh, but you know, the world is so small today with technology and flights, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna be going supersonic in the next 20 years. So I'm not even worried about that kind of stuff. Now, if we ever get some teleporting going down, I'm all for that. I'm all for it. I need some teleporting. Then we can really get some places. Great, no problem. Mary Mac was not good. Yeah, I think Mary Mac wasn't. Kevin was really trying to find. Atlanta's so big and people so, and not big as in up, but big as in spread out. That we try, you try to get a centralized location, but we're just gonna have to go for where it is. And here's my thing is, if you really want to do something, you do it. Plain and simple. If you really want something, you'll drive for it. You'll go for it. You'll do whatever's necessary. And if you're not willing to do whatever's necessary, then you just really don't want to do it, right? If it's all about your convenience, and I had to learn that as a hard lesson in business, because when I moved my store 1.8 miles down the street and the people didn't come 1.8 miles down the street, I was hurt by that. I was mad at my people. I was mad at black people. I was like, how dare you? I brought a business to your community that you talk about that people don't bring to your community, kind of don't. And this is how you do me when I go 1.8 miles down the street. I can't have to come to the realization. People do what's important for them. And if it's important to them, they'll do it. So for that 3% of my customers who came that 1.8 mile, I appreciate and I love them. Now, what's crazy is that when I moved 20 miles away, all of a sudden 30% of them people started showing up. Because I moved to a different side of town that's a little lighter. Still a mixture, but a little lighter. But now I'm going back to Blacktown. All right? I'm sorry, I shouldn't call it that. But I'm going back to the east side. Do it outside if there's no other option. That's an option. You know what? That's interesting. We can do something at Piedmont Park or Centennial. But no, we're going to be inside. It's Georgia, man. It's hot as hell. And I mean the cuz on that one. It's hot. I need my I need my teleporter and my flying car. That's right. It is our conditioning, like in slavery. Exactly. Why not the side? That's why I went to the Savoy to kind of look for a place. If you're talking about me and Kevin doing our event, as far as talking about my store, trust me, after I open up this one in South DeKalb Mall, I will be looking at South Lake Mall right behind that one. South side is deteriorating, Southwest especially. Yes and no. Yes and no. There's some things. You drive around some of these back roads, some of these side roads, you start seeing some construction going on. You start seeing some land masses being bought up by well-known contractors on this southwest side. I'm living in the southwest side right now. And I'm telling you, I drive around through here because my brother lives about 15 minutes from me over near Camp Creek. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with that area. And Camp Creek's a little mixture. But in between, and I know I'm talking Atlanta, so some of you guys aren't going to know this. But in between, I believe it's like Riverdale, Jonesboro developing, Riverdale, but in between Riverdale, you live off Washington Road? Drive around Washington Road outside the perimeter, and you see that construction they're doing right off Washington Road and 285, like in between 85 and Washington Road, both sides of the highway. Massive levels of ground has been broken. Trust me, it's coming. Don't let it fool you. Now, true, are they going to move people out? Are people going to lose their property? Are they going to re-gentrify it? They sure will. And you know what happens? We like the vultures. We coming late to the party. Coming late to the party. Look, they are repaving Camp Creek. They don't repave a road unless they know they're getting ready to do something up that road. That's how this city operates. Just like downtown Atlanta past, when you get to underground and on down to all the way to, I forgot, down to the prison. Oh, they doing some stuff. They about to change. That's why they lit it up, they lighten it up, and they're not signing new leases. We can't be like that. We can't be like vultures, man. We can't be late. Whew. I said woo because all these sources say he's in Gwinnett. I'm guessing you're a guy. I could be wrong, but you're in Gwinnett. Oh, you lived on Washington. I see. I see. Man, there ain't no way in hell I live in Gwinnett. That traffic. If y'all ever come to Atlanta, don't go to Gwinnett during traffic, which is pretty much all the time. Dang on traffic up that way is murder. Whew. But Gwinnett is a nice area though. Stonecrest wants your business. Meet with the new mayor. Stonecrest needs to develop all that land they got out there by that mall first. Oh, you're a guy, cool. All that land they got out there. I couldn't go in the Stonecrest Mall. They wouldn't allow my business in there. I would have to be too close to the movie theater. So, and they have a 100 feet clause in their contract. All right. So, but Stonecrest, yeah, later. I need to see what they do first. You know, over 10 years ago, I was supposed to be out there in what was supposed to be an Atlantic Station-like facility out in that area when I owned a gym, and I was putting a 120,000 square foot gym out there. But then the CEO of Decatur changed, and they just messed up their whole deal. But I have to see what Stonecrest does first in that area, what their plans are. That land's been sitting there undeveloped for a long time, and there's nowhere in that mall that I would go, because the best places to go I can't, because I'd be within 100 feet of their movie theater. City of Lithonia. You know, I used to be in Lithonia. We'll see. We'll see. Hey, we're getting off point now. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't care. We're just talking. So first, I think that Kanye was right in everything he said, that we are in a form of mental slavery. He didn't express it clearly the first time around, but he did later on. And we have to break these bonds of mental slavery. And that's what we're talking about right now. And I definitely think that we have to be free thinkers and not allow anybody to control how we think. And regardless of what people say, we have to say forget them and think how we choose the thing. Hey, no, you're so late. But so now we're just talking, because I'm gonna give you guys a little bit more time, because then I got to go to the gym. I was supposed to go to the gym before this, but I was running late because I had to handle some stuff. Nestle invests $7.2 billion into Starbucks. I don't blame them. Starbucks they balling. They're a hugely profitable company. They make $1 billion in profit within the first 6 months. All right, and they still don't have the coverage that they desire to have. Do the lecture at a church. That's a lot of. A church is not gonna let me and Kevin come in there. I'd be surprised if they ever did. That's funny. That's funny. Now this bookstore out in Lithonia, I think that's possible. Been talking too much. That's possible. I'm gonna check that out. I know Kevin was looking at a place down on the south side, but they was tripping. Yeah, and that is a whole lot of coffee. But here's the thing that, and this is one of the things about, because I love talking about the Botswana thing, about getting ready for Botswana, is that we do have, part of my plan is that we do business here in America. There's no reason why we shouldn't be doing business here in America and then taking that money and investing in Botswana and Haiti. We should be doing that. All right. And that gives us a strength of a foundation to make sure that we have funds flowing, you know, from America and any other country that we decide that we can do business in. You know, there are plenty of countries where it's easy to do business. Let's say one of you guys decide to build a coffee shop, that I would love if you did it, because I love coffee. And that starts building and becomes branded, and it grows and it becomes international, but we're funding now, but that's being funneled back to Botswana. Right? And here's the thing. I didn't see too many coffee shops in my research of Botswana. I haven't seen too many coffee shops in Botswana. So I mean, the opportunity is there, right? And they only have like 2 main shopping plazas in the capital city, in Gabon. So there's tons of opportunity for small things. That's why I was saying it's not all doctors and lawyers and engineers. It's you're an outstanding barista. You start doing your money right over the next 2 to 3 years. You invest in maybe some tax liens or more and create about $5,000 to $10,000 of income for yourself through rental properties. And now you go over to Botswana. You got good credit. You got guaranteed income. You can get that investment or that loan and we can't be afraid of loans. That's another mental slavery we have. We're scared of loans. Look, if I know that, let's say I had to take a loan at 26%, but I know that the money that I'm taking is I'm going to be able to take that and double and triple and quadruple that money. I don't care about the interest. All I care about is getting the money to be able to make more money. But you take that and you go to Botswana and you open up an internet a cafe with Wi-Fi, because they got Wi-Fi. You open up a cafe with Wi-Fi, with coffee, and you have meetups, and you get business people meeting there and talking, and that's the thing. Now you're producing a successful business there that's providing even more income for you to do more, to build more and have more. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we're getting ready for. That's what we got to do. Interesting enough, first African church in Lithonia would actually welcome you. Okay. I'll check that out too, since I'll be in Lithonia. What's the weather like? It's hot. It's hot. Most of the land is desert. But it has the ability to be irrigated, so we can make the desert bloom. But I mean, it is warm. It's southern hemisphere. It's not northern hemisphere. So your body will have to adjust. You won't see the stars the same way, because everything moves a little bit different on the southern. But I mean, it's Texas, Texas weather, where it's hot most of the year, but it's dry. It's not humid like Georgia or the southeast, so it's dry. It's like a drier heat, which actually is easier for you to cool off when you're in a drier heat environment. We're all slaves to the system. Who disagrees? If you pay for water, you are a slave. Now, because we live in a community, we're always going to be interdependent on one another or something. Is when we say that we can't ever do anything without it, we can't move without it, can't live without it. That's what makes us a slave, right? So, I mean, we can take it to that extreme of saying that, hey, if you work for somebody, you're a slave. If somebody pays, if you got to have somebody else's electricity, you're a slave. But here's the thing. I live in America. We got electricity. I'm not a slave to America, because I can leave whenever I choose to. I'm not a slave to the electrical company, because if I wanted to, and I'm a city guy. I don't like living in the country. So if I just wanted to, I can go out and buy some land, get me some some windmills, some solar panels. I saw this amazing thing where people encase their house in a greenhouse. Now that wouldn't work here in Atlanta because it'd be too damn hot. But they're in Norway. But they encase their house in a greenhouse, so they're on their own water, they're on their own heat, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they use a little bit of heat and just a little bit of heat. So there are ways, you can. And you're right. When I was in Florida, my house in Florida, I dug a well, had a well dug, but okay. Let me not act like I was all green. One of my neighbors who kept beating me for yard of the month, he had nice St. Augustine grass. So in order for me to afford that water bill, I dug a well because we was having a drought. I dug a well so I can get that St. Augustine grass, because I got tired of him beating me every month for a yard of the week, a yard of the month. But so I grew that St. Augustine, man. That's like carpet, outdoor carpet. But yes, you can dig a well. There are things you can do. But slavery is only when you have it in your mind, or physically you can't leave. You can't let go of it. You see, I can let go of it. I can leave, so that, in a sense, makes me not a slave to it, right? Now, there are certain things that I feel like I can't live my life without. I can't live without a good woman. I ain't even lie to you right there. I'm a slave to the love of a good woman. Am I a slave to my kids, having to be around my kids all the time for the rest of their life? Nope. My mama? Nope. My brother, sister, cousin, aunts, uncles? Nope. But a good woman? Yep. Y'all ain't gonna ever see me without a good woman. I have to have that in order to survive, right? So I'll be a slave to that all day long, because all y'all is nice to have, but ain't none of y'all as good as a good woman. I'm just saying. But y'all don't pay me no attention on that one. I'm a slave for a woman. I pay the bill and still have to wash the dishes. I'm gonna let you have that one. But I get what you're saying. But I mean but that's the I'm just making jokes on this one. But yeah, they did indoctrinate our ancestors and that sort of thing. And you know what else we are a slave to, guys? I'm gonna be honest with you. We're a slave to holding on to the past as an excuse for us not to move forward. We are. I'm not calling you out just simple life. I'm good. Just your statement made me think about that. Nothing against you personally, but very often we don't move because we're looking to scapegoat. You know, we don't do what we know can change our lives because we're still looking at our past and scapegoating. Damn, this would be another good video by itself. I'm gonna make this one. But we're always looking at our past to scapegoat somebody. Like how many people say they won't move forward in a relationship because they're still scapegoating their past relationship, or in a general sense, we still talking about, well, because Jim Crow, we're not able to. Because of the KKK, we're not able to. Because of Trump, we're not able to. Because of slavery, we're not able to. But this is where Kanye was saying it's a choice, because it's a choice if you still hold on to the past as an excuse for you not to change your life today. That's the thing. We have to be able to change our life today and not hold on. Recognize it. Use it for what it's worth as a lesson. Use it for motivation. But be able to say that, okay, our ancestors were enslaved. What's the return on their investment that I need to get? All right. What I understand is how business is done today. Or if I don't understand it, let me go study it. Let me understand it, and then let me do it, put it in practice, and make it happen. But we'll say, oh, you know, the man ain't gonna let you, man. You know, the white man gonna. As a matter of fact, I don't know who said it. I can't remember right offhand. But one person wrote in the comments of one of my Let's Go to Botswana videos where I was talking. Oh, why isn't Wakanda real? And let's get the hell on. Right, just what you say. I'm with you. But she said, or I think it was a young lady, and nothing against her, but she made the statement, I hope white people don't stop us from going. Right? And I said in the simple, they can't. Right? I think I said something to the fact that they can't stop us. Right? Because the only person, if you believe that white people can stop you, then white people will stop you. Because what will happen is that you'll create what stops you. You know, that's just the way vibration works in the universe. Your mental thoughts become manifested in reality. You will create the situation that stops you, and that creation will involve a white person or the government, and then you'll blame. See, there it is. That's my proof. That's the reality. I thought white people might stop it, and it did. But the only reason they stop you because you thought it, you put in place for things to stop you, and guess what? It didn't happen. You stopped yourself. You stopped yourself. Your own mental manifestation went out into the universe and created that. That vibration becomes reality. And it becomes reality because you started moving in that direction. You start doing things, right? So it's like one person, they talked to me about going to Botswana. But then it was like, but you know, I got felonies. Okay. Yeah, you know, the white man ain't going to let me leave because I got these felonies. I said, okay, well, there's two different ways you can work this. One, you can go and consistently and continuously petition to get those felons expunged. You know, you can become a law-abiding citizen, educated, you know, have some value, and get those things expunged and leave. And get the Botswanan government to allow you to leave. Show a history. It might take you 10, 15 years, but show a good history of it. And you can leave. Or you can go ahead and get that. You can go ahead and get yourself in a situation where you can sneak out and sneak in. That works too. The only person stopping you is you at the end of the day. What about student loan debt? Seriously? Student loan debt won't stop you from leaving. You can leave. Heck, I had student loan debt, and I done left the country a bunch of times with some student loan debt, with some big massive student loan debt that I wasn't paying student loan debt. Now there are some things that can inhibit you from getting your passport, and you just have to fix it. All right? Fix it. I don't know if you guys saw my video earlier today, but you know, I started fussing, but you can fix it. Oh, see, now you're tripping. Now you Can they garnish your wages in Botswana? You know what? In all honesty, I don't know that. I don't know the answer to that one. That is, Actually, that's a good question. I never checked to see if Botswana is a non-extraditionary country or if it's a country that doesn't report anything to the IRS. That is actually something I need to look up because if it's a non-extraditionary country or it doesn't report to the American IRS, then no, they can't. Unless you're working for an American-based company, then that's a possibility. But I don't know the full answer. That's why I need some lawyers. All right, I need some lawyers. I need researchers, right, as well. Because I'm not foolish enough to think that I can do this by myself. Do you think that I went to? Or you guys really don't know about this, but I was part of teams that went to Latvia to do nation building. I didn't do it by myself. I had my expertise and I had my parts. But that was a 3-year mission, and a 3-year mission for me, a 20-year mission for the American military and other agencies. But no, so that's why I need a team. I know a guy with a family, and he got a passport. Exactly, you can still get a passport. You can still get one. Now, applying and getting your visas, and that's what even though I can find out some of these things without going up to the embassy, I just want to go to the embassy. But we can find out things and we can figure things out. And sometimes if you can't just get the ability to just move there, this is why we have to establish that first 1,000. We need to establish business. Some of that first 1,000 have to establish businesses there so that we can provide work visas for people to come, for Americans to be able to come over there. For those that, you see how I'm thinking about that? Right? We over there and we open up some businesses. We open up some construction companies. We open up some retail shops, some restaurants. We open up some law firms, some things like that, some security firms. And then when those who can't get over there as easy, we provide work visas for them to get them over here, to get them there. And then we can put them to work, right? See, we gotta roll it like that. Dual citizenship. I know America does allow dual citizenship, so the question is, does Botswana allow it? And that's another question that we have to find. Is it a choice to allow your kids to watch living? Yes, it's a choice to watch them TV shows. And like my kids, let me put it like this. Shrek 2, mainly. But when my oldest girl was I think she was in the 3rd grade, 4th grade. I took them to see Shrek 2. A third of the movie, I was like, nope, getting up, leaving this movie. Y'all ain't watching this. And so she knew she couldn't watch that. She's at a birthday party 6-8 months later. They getting ready to watch Shrek 2. All of a sudden, I get a phone call from the little girl mama. Well, Sydney is saying that she can't watch Shrek 2 and she wants to come home because she can't watch Shrek 2. And I told her, I said, she sure cannot. I said, so I'll come pick her up. And y'all can watch the movie, and I'll bring her back so she can spend the night. If that's, it doesn't bother me. And they just decided they weren't going to watch it at all. But, no, my kids, they were easily taught that there's certain things you're not watching, certain things you're not doing. You're not old enough, you're not mature enough to handle it. Even to this day, there are certain things that my kids will not watch or do simply because of how they were taught as kids, right? So, you got doggone right. Like my kids, they don't watch a lot of these. I didn't let them watch those reality shows, right? So they still to this day, it's like something they really don't do. But then I taught them certain things that other people didn't. I taught my kids appreciation for alcohol, so that they wouldn't abuse it. I knew they were going to drink it one day, so why don't I just teach you how to appreciate it while you're growing up? And so to this day, they don't abuse it. They pick on other people in the family who do abuse it. It's like a joke. You never saw Shrek? What's wrong with? Well, Shrek, the first Shrek has some innuendos that there was above the most of the consciousness of a kid. But Shrek 2 was just all out. They had the ugly stepsister was a dude dressed in drag. Pinocchio was wearing female thongs. He was wearing thongs. Puss in Boots was licking himself, as if he was pleasuring himself. What else were they doing? It was just a bunch of things like that was going on. So I was just like, "Ooh, I gotta stop this one." Yes, it is. I believe it is a Disney movie. So I can't remember some of the other things they was doing because Oh, you had these when Shrek turned handsome. You had these three women who was like, I'll be your queen, I'll be whatever, I'll be your princess, I'll be your true love, I'll be your true love. And then one was like, I'll be whatever you want me to be. You know, she was like, and what was funny, blonde hair, I'll be your true love. Blonde hair, I'll be your true love. Dark haired, I'll be whatever you want me to be. Like she was a little hussy. So I was just like, no, we're done with this movie. And to this day, I don't think my kids have seen Shrek 2 to this day. I just learned that Nelly Song Country Grammar was talking about drive-by shootings. And that's the thing. My kids didn't a lot. My kids grew up listening to a lot of conscious rap, because I hated the rap that the violent gangster rap. I didn't let them listen to it. Music that was cursing, didn't listen to that, because no, just not gonna do it. And it's not that I'm trying to keep them away from it. I know that they're going to get out there and they're going to hear it with their friends and that sort of thing. But what they're going to learn is that around me, around their mom, around other adults, you're not going to play it. You're not going to listen to it. You're going to respect them, and the respecting them shows a respect for yourself, right? And plus, I know it becomes part of their vocabulary. Eventually, they'll use it. They'll say it. But they're not going to feel free to say it around me, you know. So, you know, just one of those things. Walt Disney was a pedophile. I don't know if he was, but I know there's a whole lot of sexual innuendos and all that little stuff. Matter of fact, that'll be an interesting video showing all the different things that Disney has that people don't pay attention to. Like there's the cover of, they had to pull them back, but one of the cover for Little Mermaid, they had a penis in the castle, on the castle. If you look at that one picture where Mickey is holding on to Minnie, the dress that she's wearing is a penis. It shapes like a penis. So there's a whole bunch of things that they just slip in, you know, that people don't know. As an expatriate, how hard / easy it is to get back into the U.S. considering my family remains patient. Now, I do know this. I don't know what the timeline is now. Back in the day, it was within every 3 years or 5 years, you had to come into America at least to get your passport stamp in order to maintain your citizenship and ability to come to be in America. I don't know if that's still the same. I don't know how often you got to do it. A good occult video. Yeah, I should. But, and all that really is because, like I said, when my former sister-in-law was living in Germany, there were times where she would book a flight, fly into JFK, go through customs, get it stamped, and then her flight was leaving 4 hours to go back, you know, because she had to get her stamp. But I don't know what those rules are yet. And I'm not saying that we go there and you can never leave. You got to stay there forever. I mean, make it your home. But you can still come visit here. I'm sure I'll still be coming to visit here because, one, I plan on continuing to lecture. But two, because I'll still be shooting videos while I'm over there. And the goal is to build a whole lecture circuit. But the other aspect of it is I'll still have business here in America. You know, I'm not giving away my popcorn shop, and there's a few other business ventures that I'll be participating in. I'm not giving that up. You know, there's some real estate investments that I'm looking at over the next 5 years. I'm not giving those things up. They'll be here to provide income for over there. So I'll still be coming over here and visiting, and I'll still be here to grow it. That's why I said that my son, I don't expect him to leave. When I leave, I expect him to be here probably 7 years after I leave, because there are things I want him to do. There are things I want my daughters to do before, you know, I convince them to come on over. They're in Skype, but you can't Skype a funeral. No, you can't. So this is why some of the training will be finances, getting your finances in order. You should always have enough money to leave. All right. You should always have some of the times in my life when I felt the most uneasy is when I didn't have a bug out bag. Right? When I don't have a bug out bag, it bothers me. Meaning that I don't have a bag that contains a certain amount of clothing, that contains a passport, that contains a certain amount of cash, and I need to have a bug out bag. You know, I got to have an escape route. It bothers me when I don't. But that's also an emergency. Like if we go to Botswana, you need to maintain enough money that you know that you can get on a plane and fly home if your family is sick or something is going on. That's part of funding. That's part of having a what's called an LTS, a long-term savings, right? You can have a long-term savings. And if you always got money in your long-term savings, $2,000, $3,000, then you can always come back if some emergency happens. I don't like calling it emergency funds. I hate emergency funds because then it's like you're putting it out there that you want an emergency to happen. We should be world citizens by now, and we should be. We shouldn't need passports at all. We should all just be one world. Yeah, it's a long flight. I think it is about 14. Yeah, it's 4. Yeah, I was looking it up. I saw some 16 hours. And you know what? I saw some some 36 out 38-hour flights because I was like, ooh, that one has a layover right there for like 12 hours. I want to go do that one. But but yeah, you got 14-hour flights. And it's a long flight. It's all right. You'll be all right. People fly longer than that. Or what if war breaks out? Well, see, that's our purpose. Our purpose is to build a country that becomes strong enough for war not to occur or to be able to combat it. Botswana is one of the safest countries in Africa right now. It's one of the safest countries. And this is one of the reasons why some of those people definitely some of the people I want to come are former military and police officers and fire. We need protective services to go with us. Not so much to protect those of us who come, but to become part of their society, right? To start building the military, to start making their military more advanced, to start making their police department more advanced, to bring in better training, right? Good question. A military is needed in this, and exactly, and that's one of the things. I'm definitely serious because as we start utilizing the resources and start building the resourcefulness of Botswana, we need to protect it. We have to be able to protect it. South Africa is down the street, and although they're doing well taking over their own land, hey, until we see how that country is going to move, we need to be able to protect it. There are other countries. Zimbabwe is around the corner, and they've had civil unrest quite a few times. We got to make sure that everything that we're doing there is being protected. So military and police are definitely needed. Are they offering an incentive program? Sorry, for our part we played. Well, nothing like that. Where they're just offering incentives for that kind of thing, for nothing that I've seen. For we're sorry for participating in slavery, but what they have been offering is things like, if you come here to build a factory, we're going to help you to develop your factory. We're going to help you with your employees. We're going to provide your training. We'll actually give you buildings for free or land for free in order for you to build a factory or to build a school. So they're incentivizing based on you being able to build and bring something that betters the country. So it's more like that, more so than here's some money. Is that why so many black people been moving to Ghana? It's because of something like that. But see, here's the thing. This is also why we have to train. This is why we got to get ready. Because what's the saying? If you took all the wealth of the world and spread it out evenly amongst everybody in the world, within a few short years, all the money will be back into the hands of the rich people. We have to know how to handle these things. So for the ones who can afford to leave, do they become T'Chaka? To those who can't afford to come kill? And that's why they leave. I'm not exactly sure I understand what you mean by that, Shondell. Do they become the... Because T'Chaka was T'Challa's daddy. So I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that one. All I know is that the affordability to go, the ability to afford it, comes down to planning. Simple planning, right? If you can't, and I'm going to be honest with you, here's the deal. If a person can't look at their finances right now and say that, okay, this is where I am. So we leave the ones who can't go behind. But that's the thing. there's not one person. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I know people are gonna say, well, now, if there's not one person on this planet, well, in America, that if they make up their mind that that's what they want to do, that they can't do it. There's not one. How many times have you heard the foreigner who saved their money for 5, 6, 7, 10 years, just enough to get to America, had $10 in their pocket, had $100 in their pocket, $1,000 in their pocket, got to America and figured it out, started working, saved their money again, eventually opened up a business, or they just saved their money and got them a job, they got educated, they educated their kids. How many times have we heard those stories? How many times have we heard about Africans who come to America and do that? Asians who come to America and do that? Indians who come to America and do that? We've heard those stories so many times. Even Europeans. There's so many people from Bosnia who came over to America, when we was evacuating people out of Bosnia back in the early 90s. So many people. When we evacuated Liberia and brought them over to America. So many. Right. It is a different mindset. But that's all it is. It's just mindset. So the idea of leaving people behind, they are leaving themselves behind. But that's why I also said earlier, I don't know if you was on here earlier, that as the first 1,000 get there, it makes it easier for the next 10,000. And as the 10,000 get there, it makes it easier for the 100,000. As the 100,000 gets there, it makes it easier in the mindset of everybody else. Once it becomes a norm, then it's easier for them to come. But some people are never going to free themselves from the slavery of it all. Some people are never going to free their mind to be able to say that, you know what, that plane ticket is, I think last time I looked, that plane ticket is like $1,200. That plane ticket is $1,200. I know that, if I save up $5,000, then I got about 2 to 3 months of life. And I know that there's business opportunity, there's opportunities for work over there. And there's a place in Austin, Texas, or wherever me and Kevin decide to do this thing at. There's a place in Austin, Texas that will help me to develop myself to go over there, or provide me entryway and give me the connections of jobs and things like that. I know I can go there and I can make my way, right? If a person is unwilling to do that, I'm gonna be honest with you. What I'm trying to do, don't want you, because you'll be a drain. You'll be a drain. Right now, the beginning 20 years are so delicate that we got to minimize leeches. We got to minimize those who are going to come there and do the same crap there that they're doing here. That the first 20 years, we got to build. We got to be on that building game. Creating that situation that becomes, appeasing that becomes pleasing for people to say that this is where I need to go. This is where, I know we say Wakanda, but like how a lot of people run to Atlanta, but a lot of people come to Atlanta with misnomers and thoughts that, oh, it's easy for a black person in Atlanta. Black people in Atlanta are still making less money than anybody else in Atlanta. Black people in Atlanta make the least amount of money in Atlanta. All right. Now, yeah, we have a lot of black people who are making money, but as a whole, black people are still making less than the Asian, than the Spanish, than the Indian, than making less than the white people. They still making less. All right. So we're going to get that, but we got to get that late. When we first get there, we got to be there to build and create, design them roads and highways and irrigations and all that. We got to, we got to build a refinery to refine. They got so much diamond. They got diamonds, nickel, and I believe titanium. We got to be able to refine that. I mean, refining that alone will help build industry there. I looked at videos and it's not many. A fight at the mall amongst some of the kids in the car rides through the city, nothing different from the mall. Yep. I mean, you ain't gonna, that's the thing. People think that, oh, this world is so different. You'll find so many things that are so common there that's common here. But then you'll see the difference in that sort of thing. They're definitely different with how they are about family, but we can make a huge difference as far as business and commerce. Foreigners coming to America, right? I mean, and that's the thing. A lot of foreigners, they come to America. They've been living hard. Americans, you've been living soft, and now we're gonna go over there and we got to build something. That's why I say the first ones, I need real. Hey, I can get there I can do without some of the things that I'm used to having. But you know what? For some of those things, I can build it. I can build it. You know, you can ship black hair care supplies over there, and then you have an audience. You have a ready-made audience. So, you know, you ain't got to put out everything, but we can make it hot. We can make it happen. People who leave are not looking for jobs. They save up their money, use retirement money to live off of because exactly. My brother, once I broke down to my brother, my brother, we was talking about it and I was doing some research and I was with my brother. And when I told him that with his retirement, that his money would be like that, what the kind of house he'd be able to buy and, you know, how he live with, because, you know, with his retirement, he was like, man, you have to understand my brother. This is how my brother talk. Like, man, shit, I might have to go on over there and go on with you on that one, bro. Shit, that sounds good to me. I can do what? So that's how I imitate the people in my family. So, you know, I can imitate pretty much everybody in my family how they talk. But that's so he's my brother who I never would think would come over there, especially how he is about his grandkids. He's thinking about it once he saw how far his money will go, and that's an attractive thing. That's going to be an attractive thing to some of the older black people because we're going to need that wisdom over there too. We're going to need some older black people who have some maturity about themselves. Uh, Learning to drive on the opposite side of the road is like learning to write with the left hand. I mean, I thought they drive on the right side of the road in Wakanda. I thought they drive on the same side we did. I have to look at that again now because now you got me questioning that one because I looked at that very briefly. Um, Atlanta can be, but the mindset. We have so much of an American mindset here. It's such an American mindset, and we can do better. Atlanta's rough financially for the average person. The show is the Great Migration. That's right. We want to have a like how back in the day they had the Bantu migration. We're gonna have our own Bantu migration. But yeah, a lot of people you'll be surprised that Atlanta ain't as easy as people think it is when they come running into my city that's full. Whew, driving on this place is dry. That's one thing I'm looking forward to going to Botswana. I'm tired of traffic. I don't like traffic. In Botswana on the opposite side of the road. Hey man, there's going to be adventures. I went and spent 3 months in England and it was an adventure. I almost ran over a bunch of people, but it was an adventure. It's an adventure. Getting on the highway, getting on and off the highway, that freaked me out the most when I was over there. I wonder why reparations is such a divided among black people. I don't know. You know, it was promised, it was never delivered, so I understand some of the irritation about it. And some of the black people know that they would do well with it. Other people know that they wouldn't. People like me is just like, I ain't holding my breath for it, so it ain't even worth me worrying about because I just don't ever see it ever happening personally. I don't see America ever actually paying reparations and actually figuring out who to pay it to and how much to pay each person and that sort of thing. Actually, I think it'll be smart for America to do it, right? Where they paid them, it was right and it was immediate. It was right when it happened, easy to identify. But if they didn't pay reparations to the slaves back to the freed slaves back then in 1864, 1865, 66 during that time frame, then it wasn't going to happen. But you know why I would if I was Trump, I'd go ahead and pay it. Let me tell you why I would go ahead and pay it. I would go ahead and pay reparations. I would say that if you can bring your family's birth report and show that your family has been here in America, then based on the number of people who claim the same bloodlines, we're going to give an aggregated amount to each one of those individuals and pay you out reparations. I don't know what it'll come out to. Maybe just say $10,000 per black person in America. So we're like 12.9% of the population. So let's just say it's half of that will be able to figure it out. So I think that's right around about, I don't know what, about 20 million black people go and get their $10,000, right? Now, here's the thing about it. Within 6 months, all the rich folks will have pretty much the majority of that $10,000. It'd be a great boost to the economy because 90% of the people are going to spend. They're going to pay some bills. They're going to buy a car. They'll buy some clothes. They'll buy some stuff. They're going to spend it. They'll spend it on things. And here's the thing: there's nothing wrong with spending it, but it'll be spent on consumerism. It won't be spent on investments. It won't be spent on something that's going to bring a return on the investment. You're not going to have a family of 30 take their $10,000 each, right, and then build something with that. Like start a family business or buy some property and build some houses on it and rent those. Or hell, you can buy some property, buy some trailers and rent those. Trust me, they'll pay it. You can always find people who live in a trailer and they'll pay it. So they'll get it back. The government will get it all back. Remember when Bush did those tax credit, and a lot of people got them $8 to $1,200 checks, and they all spent it. Everybody, that's black, white, people, everybody spent that money in a heartbeat. So we'll spend it. I do it just so black people shut up and say, okay, we paid it, and then I know it's just going to return in money. Yeah, stimulus checks. I remember getting my stimulus check, and I bought more inventory for my company at the time. That's all that stimulus check meant to me. So I would. Said price of Jordans will go up overnight. Oh, now see, Nike be ready for it. They'll say, hey, you know these black folks about to get this check. We need to triple our output. Reparations has been on your mind lately. I really wanted to jump on the bandwagon for the petition and the movement fighting for that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you feel drawn to it, jump on it. Jump on it. All right, and you know who will benefit? The Asians will benefit. Boy, they be selling some chicken wings like nobody's business. Be selling all kind of chicken wings. Y'all be at American Deli just buying chicken wings. Black man selling chicken wings right next door. You just keep going to American Deli, buying them chicken. Think about it. Asian people started coming called American Deli. Be the least money to start. Should be at least money to start a business, and free education totally forgiven. Okay, forgiving. I think America should just forgive student debt for everybody, period. Student loans. Just period, point blank, everybody. But should be enough to start a business. But here's the problem. You can actually hurt communities more so than you help them if you just arbitrarily give them money to give people money to start a business who don't know how to do business. Like there's a bank that I plan on opening. A bank, an international bank that I intend on building that will now probably be in Botswana or Haiti. That the way I would do this bank, I will guarantee you a business loan. I will guarantee you a home loan. But there are steps and stages that you have to go through in order to get it, right? If you can't prove your financial worthiness, and it's not through credit, but prove your financial worthiness through understanding how to manage your money and proving it, then I'm not giving you that money. Because here's the thing. People come in, if you have a plaza, if people get money for a business and they go open business, and of course you know they're going to open repeat business over and over again. If businesses keep opening and closing in an area, you actually hurt that business more so than anything else. You hurt the community, I should say. Because all of a sudden you have this infrastructure that's built because all this new business, but then when they start closing because people don't know how to do business, they don't know how to manage their money, they don't know anything about marketing, and their businesses start closing, now you're going to have a bunch of empty spaces, a bunch of empty property. And then what happens after that? Those who know how to do business come in, they buy that property on the cheap, and then they remodel and redo and reset everything, and next thing you know, they're making the money again. They're making the money. So I wouldn't just give people money for business like that. Where there's cause, there's effect. Cause and effect works in everything. So we did student, and you're right. If we did student loans, there's more white people who would benefit from that than black people, but it still would help black people though. It's not going to help as many because I think right now we're tracking at around 36% of black people go to college. Only 36%. So that's about the number that you're helping, and you know, and not all of that 36% get student loans. Well, no, they don't have to admit that you're indigenous to this land in order to pay reparations, because reparations was written for those freed slaves. So that's what the reparation, the 40 acres and a mule. So that's not about being indigenous to this land. That would actually be, sorry, that would be reparations to the, um, and that was supposed to be what the Native Americans got when they got their property, their lands, their own little countries, and then casinos. But that's written in as far as the Emancipation Proclamation, and I'm not sure if it's in the Constitution. I'm pretty sure it's not in the Constitution, but I think it's part of the Emancipation Proclamation or something thereafter. I haven't looked that up in so long. America's not gonna bail us out though. That's the thing. See, that's we in all honesty, we have to stop thinking about that kind of stuff, right? We really, really do. We really, really do. Um, we really have to get out of that because that's hurting us. To be honest, just my opinion. I'm just to put it like that. In my opinion, that's hurting us. You know, as long as we're waiting on the government to bail us out, as long as we're looking for, you know, the white man to bail us out, we're never going to get out. We never will, because we'll always be waiting on some outside force to do something that we can do for ourselves. We can do this ourselves. We don't need a government. Notice the government corporate bailouts only bailed out people who know how to make money. They know how to make money. Yeah, they screwed up, they messed up, but they only bail out those who know how to make money. They didn't bail out the mom and pop businesses in your towns, in our towns. They didn't bail out the small business. They didn't bail out the business that got less than 500 employees. They bailed out the big businesses who have shown a history of knowing how to make money. So, because in all honesty, they know that if they bailed out the mom and pop who didn't know how to make money in the first place, that is wasted money. That they're going to find themselves in that same situation again anyway. And I know we hear the stories about the corporate golden parachutes and all that and the bonuses, and that stuff is jacked up, but we can't. We're in a position where we need to learn. We need to be like, hit the reset button. We need the reset button. We gravitate towards Black Wall Street, and we like to prop up Black Wall Street, and that's good, and I respect what people did, but you have to understand, they built Black Wall Street because they couldn't shop at White Street. They couldn't go to White Street. They couldn't go to Main Street and shop there. They couldn't go to Main Street and sell their products there. They couldn't go to Main Street and eat there. So Black Wall Street happened because people didn't have a choice. We didn't have a choice but to build Black Wall Street. There was no choice in the matter. And when there's no choice, you can't say that we chose it, because there wasn't one. All right? When there's no restaurant you can go to in a town, and here's the black guy that builds one, and you can go there, it's not like you had a choice. Your only choice was go home and eat or go there and eat. You want to take a girl on a date? That's your choice. Oh, and now another black person built one. Now I got a second choice. Now the black people are competing with the other black people to create it. Right? Now they're creating it because there was no choice. That's the cause. That's the causal factor for that effect of a Black Wall Street. That's why as soon as integration happened, we ran to the white restaurant. We ran to the white communities. We ran to go live next to the white person. We ran to go say, hey, white man, take my money. Because we had choice then. And then the worst part about it, we felt like that choice made us better. We felt like it made us better. Because now I'm forcing you to now take my money. It's the dumbest damn thing in creation. It's for us, and that has now become our programming. Hey, Asian man, you're selling black hair care products and have no intellect about how to use these things. Take my money. You're not a subject matter expert on black hair care and skin care, but I want to give you my money because you're in my community and you open up a store, and I'm going to believe that you have it on lock. You make chicken real good because all you do is take some sauce and put it in. After you deep fry some chicken, you put the sauce in a bowl and shake it up. That's all they're doing. And we run to it because we believe that we've been now given a choice. But now we got into a slavery mindset that we don't give ourselves a choice, because when we do see somebody open up that next to us, we don't go there. We don't go there. We don't. Now, because I'm going to Lithonia tomorrow, there's a couple black restaurants that well, I ain't gonna go to a couple black restaurants because that's too bad. That's too much food. But I'll go to a black restaurant while I'm out in Lithonia tomorrow to have lunch. Right? So I'll go out there. I know where I'm not going. I'm not going to an American deli. I'm not going to the Chinese restaurant and getting a veggie plate. I'm not doing that. But I might go to the Burger Queen out there. I might go, if I want a burger, I go to see her. Or there's another one, there's a new one that opened up out there. I might go there. I don't know, what's the day? Now tomorrow's not a meat day, so nothing meat, it ain't gonna happen. Yeah, and we still fighting to give it to them. We'll protest to give it to them instead of protesting to stop us from giving it to somebody who doesn't care about us. Yep, it's 6. The black dollar is going out the neighborhood. Hell, it's probably not even 6. It's probably stretching it. All these swords. I ain't even worried about it. I mean, for me, I don't even think about reparations. So we can talk for exactly we can, and I'm about to start. I told y'all about half an hour ago I was gonna start the party. We just need a plan. We need to. Now this video wasn't supposed to be about the planning because there's a few other things that I wanted to tweak before I actually start talking about building the center. But one of the first things okay, so let me give you guys a little bit of the plan right now because she making me work too hard. Steps, especially if we're looking at 300. Exactly, we do have to look at the steps. Okay. So let me go ahead. So I'm gonna finish this video off with giving you guys a little bit of the plan. A lot of the things I've already said before, they just weren't all together. So here it is. Here's the thing, and we're gonna discuss this later on this week and start actually, because what I'm going to in the discussion that we're gonna have later on this week, it's not just a discussion. It's also a people that I'm looking for. Because I need help. I can't do this by myself. All right, I can't do this by myself at all. Right. So, oh Kevin, you so late. I ain't even paying attention. You do. But Kevin, where's she at? Asha, she suggested a place that I'm gonna go check out tomorrow. I'm gonna go check out a place tomorrow in Lithonia where we can have our lecture. Okay. Because that Savoy place, I don't know what they was talking about when I was over there. But there's a place I'm going to go check out in Lithonia tomorrow. Okay? So don't bother me about it. Don't send me a text after this. I'm going to fight you. But anyway, before I go, what we're going to discuss later on in this week, probably around Thursday or Friday, is I'm going to lay out the basic plan. This is the basic plan. The plan is flexible. All right? The plan is flexible. But it ain't too flexible. So here's the situation. One, there's an education process that everybody needs to start going through. If your finances are already great, good. But everybody needs to understand how to manage their finances. So I'm gonna privately and through video teach people go through credit, go through funding and finances and how money works. All right, in order for us to get ourselves financially prepared to go. The other part of it, even though everybody may not want to invest in businesses and things like that, we still have to create some source of income. So we're going to go over some of the ideas, and I'm sure you guys will have ideas about different ways of creating residual income. Not a network marketing company. I'm not pushing anything like that. I'm not pushing anybody to join my company. I'm not pushing nothing like that. It's about mainly, it's going to be things like buying tax liens, buying rental properties, investing in a business, a restaurant, or an online business, understanding how to import and export products, so that you can build a company that provides you residual income so that when we go, you have income already coming in, right? Now, if you have skill sets and talents that you can go over there, you can get yourself right to save up money to open up a clinic or a restaurant or something as soon as you get there, that's great as well. But for some of us, from whoever wants to participate, let's get income here that we're sending there. We're taking money from America and we're going there with it. All right. And we're going to have that flow. Now, another aspect that we have to do, and this is something that me and Kevin are discussing, and we ain't even said nothing about taking out the bag, but we're discussing how we're going to build an outreach center here in America, at least one, but the idea is for multiple to spring up. Part of the mission of the outreach center is to help people prepare themselves and move and go to Botswana to build Wakanda Forever, right? So we'll be doing that. That's another part of it, and that is really going to take some effort and some people, because some of the other things that Kevin wants to do with this outreach center is going to take people, and we want to build multiple centers across the country where people can have those resources to do things here in America and to build things here in America, but also to go to these other countries, go to Botswana and build there. So that's very key for us to get over there. That's where what we're going to talk about, some of the things that are required, and we're going to look at some of the aspects of Botswana so that people can start familiarizing themselves with it. We're also going to look at, when I go, I don't know exactly when I want to go to DC, but when I do go, I would hope that people will join me, those who want to be a part of going, and it's really just to go be there. We don't have to go. It's not a trip that's like vital, but I just want to go. It's just something about going to the embassy, meeting some of the people, start talking, start creating, and then creating social connections through social network. I need somebody to be the admin for the Botswana to America, or Botswana, Wakanda to Botswana Facebook page, so that we have a place of communicating and then begin to connect with people and resources over there. And what I want to be very mindful of, there are some expatriates, like when I'm looking at housing over in Botswana, one of the things that bothers me is that damn near every real estate agent I look at is some British person, some German person, is some European who is handling it's not, I don't think it's Remax, but it's a big real estate company. It might be Remax, but it's a real estate company that got their claws into Botswana, and they got a European there handling all the transactions for buying property. No, hell no. If you're a real estate agent, then I want to get you set up. I want you to go through the process, of being able to get your real estate license in Botswana, so that you can be the real estate agency that we're sending people through, right? So I'm glad you like it. So I want to get you guys out. So and here's the thing: it's small things like that makes a huge difference. It's small things like that. From the research that I've done so far about real estate agents, I know that, and I'm trying to go off the top of my head because I don't have my book with me, but I think you have to have either been a real estate agent in America or some other country for at least 3 years, right? I believe it's 3 or 5 years at the max. So I believe it's 3 years. Then you can just take the test for there and get your real estate license. If not, you have to go there and their real estate school is in the University of Botswana. Well, it's at the university, and you go through their process to get your real estate license. Other than that, if a real estate brokerage house here in America opens up a brokerage house there, but I don't know what it takes to open a brokerage house there yet. But that's what my real estate, the people who are interested in being the real estate agents, that would be your mission. Find out what it is that you need to do to open a brokerage house there or to work there, so that you can be the focal point. And then, yes, we have to create connections with certain people over there to help facilitate the initial moving and understanding, so that we have less hiccups. So those are some of the things that we're going to talk about later on this week concerning Botswana and concerning this move and building Wakanda Forever Botswana, right? So, and yeah, I say it like that because it's just funny to me, and I just like saying it that way. But that's pretty much it for tonight, guys. For all you latecomers, you have to go back and watch this over again. For I think it was Rolling something that donated to me. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody's comment. Yeah, and so you're saying we're current real estate. That's what I'm saying. I think if you got one, it can. There's less things you have to do in order to transfer your real estate license over there. Like I said, it's nothing but Europeans who are controlling the real estate market as far as agents, and we got to change that. Got to change that, because I'm not buying a house from an expatriate. I rather, if need be, if we don't have a real estate agent here in America who can go over there, then we'll find a black realtor over there, and that person would be our real estate agent. We just, hey, if a expatriate European who's a real estate agent and you're watching this and you finna pop up on here with a comment saying that, oh, well, you know what, I can be your real, no, hell no. Hell no. That's just not gonna happen, because we're building the kingdom and we can't, there's certain things we can't, it can't happen. It just can't, because it defeats the purpose. So sorry, get somebody else, but we're not doing that. All right. I'm flexible on a lot of things, but some things I'm just not gonna be flexible with. Yep, find it out, get the info. Okay, I don't know what y'all talking about. I don't know if y'all talking to me. Oh, y'all talking about what help? Y'all talking amongst yourselves. You might want to check that out, Reginald, because I just drove past the Pine Street Mission today, and they're closed. So, and I don't know where they moved them to. Maybe to the Atlanta Mission over there by Centennial Park, by the aquarium. I don't blame me. I don't want my grandkids born here either. All right, I'm just reading a couple things. Make sure I knock out a few things before I sign off. My contact is messing with me. Right. And that's the thing. We probably will find a real estate. I want both. I want some real estate agents, people who go over there and become real estate agents, but also real estate agents who are Botswana. That's what I'm saying. We got to provide for them too. It's not about us. It's about, it's not about, yeah, it's about all of us. That's what I got to look up. What credit bureau type situation that they use over in Botswana. Like I said, guys, there's a lot that I haven't looked up because I've been working on opening my store, and I got coaching clients that I've been working with. It's a lot. That's why I need you guys' help to do this. All right, but we're going to find out all those answers, and you guys can find out some of those answers too. All right. And yes, that last statement, we all know that Kanye was right. And yes, he was. We need to be able to think freely without the thought police jumping down our throats. And we have to break all the chains of mental slavery that has kept us from being able to truly fulfill our potential. Yep. And if black people already have a brokerage house there, it's probably easier to transfer your license to their brokerage house anyway. Right, 3 to 5 year process before the official move. It is, because I want you to go there right, not just throw yourself over there and try to figure it out. Let's get there and be a benefit to the people and to the country. Yeah, and that's one thing about that dry. I'm gonna have LASIK before I go over there, because I can't do these contacts. We're not gonna wait till the last. We're going to figure this out. And even if we have to backdate the lecture, but I'm going to a place tomorrow to hopefully get that lecture squared away. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys. It has all been almost 2.5 hours, and we are not going to go over that. You guys have been great. I always appreciate you. This is my opium, right here, because I love to talk to you guys, and, we educate each other. We get everything squared away. Man, I'm already 46, so I'm still young. And I just love you guys. It's plain and simple. I just love you guys. So y'all have a great day. Remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. And good night, because I still got to go to the gym, because that's where I'm about to go. Good night, and good night.